our series in finding patterns and making predictions and seeing how those patterns can change. Liam and JJ? Hannah? I know we're all super excited for being in that jumpy house, but we need to focus now. Peyton and Camilla, show me that you can be good listeners. So we've been doing a lot of work with patterns and predictions, and we're going to continue with that. But today we're going to talk a little bit more about how characters' feelings and traits change throughout the story. Just like some patterns in our series books have changed, character traits can change as well. Okay? I know we haven't read Franklin is Bossy yet, but using what we used yesterday, what we learned about yesterday, I want you to make some predictions about what this book is going to be about based off of just the cover, what the picture looks like, and the title. What do you think the book is going to be about? How do you think Franklin is going to act? Since we've read some other Franklin books. Lucy, want to make a prediction?
I think he's going to be like bossy. They're playing a bunch of games. And it's like, but I have to make the rules. So like, you be the dog, you be the cat, you be the fish.
Okay. And why do you think that? So remember, you said, I think this because why?
Because like the cover shows.
The title says Franklin is bossy. Sure. Anyone else? People want to make another prediction? Okay. And do you want to make another prediction, Camilla?
I think that he's going to be bossy and
Nice and loud.
what Lucy said.
Okay. So he's going to be bossy. So we think that that's what his feelings are going to be, is that he's going to be super bossy during the story. So when we notice our characters in our story acting a certain way, we always predict that they're going to continue to act that way. And sometimes during the story, those traits change. And something happens to the character that they change how they think and they change how they behave, and then they start thinking a different way. And we as readers have to be really close readers to kind of think about why that happens. So we're going to read Franklin is Bossy, and I want you to think about what kind of feelings and traits Franklin has at the beginning of the story and in the middle of the story, so how we change it, and then at the end. Yeah, so here we go. I need you all to be very good listeners. Franklin is bossy. Franklin the turtle could zip zippers and button buttons. He could count by twos and tie his shoes. He had lots of friends and one best friend named Bear. They played tag and marbles, hopscotch and ball, but one day something awful happened. Franklin and Bear had a fight. It was a steamy summer morning. Franklin told his friends, let's play marbles. And they did. After a while, Franklin said, I'm tired of marbles. Let's have a race. You always pick the games, grumbled Bear. Franklin paid no attention. He started to run. Bear was in the lead. Goose followed close behind. Franklin saw that he was losing and cried out, slowest one wins, as he crawled across the finish line last. That's not fair, said Bear. Franklin ignored him. I'm tired of running. Let's play baseball. I want you to turn and talk to a neighbor. What do you think Franklin is feeling right now? What traits is he showing? You can hear me, put your hand up. B5, please. Hands down. I want you to keep that thought in your head, okay? I'm tired of running. Let's play baseball. Bear did not put on his mitt. He did not put on his cap. He was mad. It's too hot. I don't want to play, said Bear. Me neither, said Beaver. It's too hot, said Franklin. It's not too hot, said Franklin. It's too, said Bear. Is not, said Franklin. I don't want to play with you, Franklin, shouted Bear. And to play with you either, Franklin shouted back. Franklin stomped all the way home. What's wrong? Asked his father. There's no one to play with, answered Franklin. Maybe your friends will come by later, said Franklin's father. Maybe, he said. In his room, Franklin built a castle. He made a cape to be braven. He made shields and swords and suits of armor. He drew pictures. He played house. He read stories. He played by himself for 1 whole hour. And then he didn't know what to do. So Franklin went looking for company. His friends were in the river, cooling off. Are you still hot? He asked. No, they answered. Then let's play ball, said Franklin. Before anyone had a chance to say a word, Franklin started giving orders. Bear, you play first base. Goose and Beaver, you go to the outfield. I'll be the pitcher. No way, shouted Bear. I don't want to play with you. You are too bossy. All of Frank's friends nodded. Bear's right, they said. Franklin turned his back and went home. I'm going to talk to your neighbors. What do you think Franklin's All right, everybody give me 5 up here. Find out. Keep that straight. There was no one to play with and nothing much to do, so he helped his father all afternoon. They weeded the garden and washed the floors, and they made supper for Mole because he was sick. You're a good friend, Mole told Franklin's father. On the way home, Franklin asked, do you and Mole have fights? Sometimes, said Franklin's father, but we always make up. Franklin played alone for another whole day. He missed Bear and all his friends, and he had lots of time to think. He would go to Bear and apologize. Franklin and Bear met on the bridge. I was going to your house, said Franklin. And I was going to your house, said Bear. I'm sorry, said Franklin. It was all my fault. No, it was my fault, said Bear. Mine, said Franklin. No, mine, said Bear. Stop, shouted Beaver. Then, put your shirt down. It's going to be distracting. Shouted Beaver, who was listening under the bridge. This is silly. Beaver slapped her tail so hard that Franklin and Bear jumped. Started to giggle. Friends? Asked Franklin. Friends, said Bear. Beaver wanted to play baseball. Bear and Goose and Duck agreed. They were picking teams when Franklin insisted on being the pitcher. Again. All together, his friends shouted, No fair, Franklin. Franklin knew they were right. He couldn't always be a pitcher. It was his turn to play in the outfield. And it wasn't so bad, for although Franklin didn't catch a single ball, he did catch lots of flies. Turn and talk to your neighbor how Franklin feels at the end.
I feel so happy. Maybe I should be something else instead of a picture.
All right, voices off, eyes up here. I heard lots of good discussions, and you being great listeners. Now I want to talk to you about a character can change throughout the story and in the series. How are just some ways that characters can change? In some ways. How can they change? Peyton? So they can change from happy to mad to sad. They can change how they scared. Okay, Lucy, what's another way characters can change?
They can be bossy in the beginning, sad in the middle, and happy in the end.
Okay, so their feelings change maybe when different things happen. I want you to complete this sentence in your head. Franklin always acts like, so think about the Franklin stories that we've read, because we've read quite a few of them now, right? So think about, Franklin always acts like, you can give me an example. Just 2 people remember the stories? More JJ. In all of the stories, Franklin always acts like he's the boss, especially in this one, right? Let's change it to sometimes Franklin acts like, Emily? Nice and loud so I can hear you. So sometimes he can be nice too, because our characters change in all of our books, right? So remember, I told you to keep those thoughts in your head. So let's complete these. In the beginning, Franklin was feeling, how was Franklin feeling in the beginning? Josh, how was Franklin feeling in the beginning of the story? He was mad. In the middle, how was Franklin feeling? Hannah?
Sad.
He was sad. And at the end, how did Franklin feel? Kaisa?
Happy.
He was happy. So boys and girls, as you can see, just like our patterns can change in our series, all of our characters can change in a book, in a series. So we have to be really careful readers to pick up on those patterns and those changes that we see in our characters. What I would like you to do right now, bless you, is I would like you to grab your reader's notebook, grab your book series, go back to your desk, and as you're reading, I want you to think about how your character is feeling at the middle, or I'm sorry, at the beginning, at the middle, and at the end, and I want to write those down, okay? I'm going to meet with a couple different groups, and I'll let you know who those are as we get started to work. Questions, Hannah? Okay, if you feel like it's time for you to change the series, you can come and meet with me as soon as everybody else gets started, okay? Most of you, I think I had 2 or 3 groups that changed yesterday, so really there should only be 1 group left that could change. Okay? Question or comment, Lucy and Liam? Question, Lucy, go ahead.
How would we do with chapter books?
Chapter books, you can just make observations of your characters as you read, and then you'll see them. It might just happen a little bit slower because the books are longer than like a picture book. It goes a little bit faster.
Yeah,
You're still to be writing down observations of how you notice your characters are changing.
Should we still do it beginning, middle?
Yeah, but you can maybe have a lot of feelings in the beginning and a lot of feelings in the middle and a lot of different ones in the end, okay? I will have Kayla, Liam, Lucy, and Matt go ahead and get started. And Zach, Kaisa, Emily, and Kate go ahead and get started. JJ, Layla, Brody, Jude, Josh, and Eli, go ahead. Camilla, Peyton, Hannah, Veronica. You all read all 3 spots. Yes. You've only read 1. Okay. What I would like you to do, okay, so what I would like you to do right now is I want you to pick one of those box books, and I'd like you to do what you did with Franklin is bossy, and break it down. How is your character feeling in the beginning, how is it feeling in the middle, and how are you feeling at the end, okay? We'll be readers. Okay, you're reading Fox right now, and then we'll talk about the Bean and Ivy group. Alright, so have we finished all the chapter books? Okay. What was the next set of books that you girls would be doing? You don't have to. So what I would like you to do is you're going to take another series that as a group, all of you want to read. Once you found that, come up and show me which one it is. Okay? Alright, Gavin. Who's in for you?
Eli. I think
You were just reading Strigonona, right?
Yeah, we asked yesterday.
Okay, and you did not switch yesterday?
Yeah, because
Okay. Find a new book series. When you find one, then you can come up and ask me. I want Gavin's group. So Gavin, Eli, Zach, who's the fourth one? Grab your books, grab your notebooks, and meet me at the red table. Okay?
All the Magic Tree House books. Most, right?
So, tell me about the characters that you met in there. Go ahead, Zach.
The main characters are Jack
and
Morgan too.
Jack, Annie, and Morgan. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about the characters in the beginning of the story. Is there a leader? Is there not a leader? Because I've never read the book, so.
Usually Jack.
Okay, so tell me about Jack. What kind of person, what kind of character is he in the beginning of the books when they approach a problem?
He's usually his sister Annie is usually up and ready to go to the magic tree house, but he's kind of usually sleeping.
So he's kind of like the instigator of things? Okay. What is the other character, Annie?
Yeah, Annie.
Okay, so tell me, Eli, how about you tell me about Annie? What kind of character is Annie?
Yeah. Annie's, I don't know.
So Jack is the leader.
Like what Gavin said. She sometimes is like ready for bed, but in this book it's kind of different. Jack is the first one to wake up.
Yeah. Okay, so if you were to say Jack was usually the leader and Annie's usually the one that...
She's gonna be curious. She's curious.
Okay.
You know, studying on this taken.
All right. What I want you to do is for the specific book that you're reading, because I know you're all reading different ones, and I want you to think about one of those characters, Jack or Annie. I want you to open up to the next clean page in your notebook. And I want you to write, just like we have up there, in the beginning, and then pick your character. Let's say I pick Jack. Jack is feeling, and I want you to write down how he's feeling in the beginning of your book, and then think about how he's feeling towards the middle, and how he's feeling in the end. So you really have to remember what this book was about. I thought you guys said you finished with all books.
Mostly all. There's
Okay, pick a book that you have finished. Or even for this book, pick a character, and since you haven't gotten to the end, just do the beginning and the middle to see, and we'll talk about how they maybe have changed. This is good, right here.
I haven't actually done.
Okay, so if you're only so Gavin and Eli, you're only about halfway through. So let's just do the beginning right now. The beginning and the middle, because you're about halfway through, right? Okay, perfect. So write down in Franklin, or not Franklin, Jack or Annie or whichever character you want to use.
Hi, we're just here to recap Nikki's lesson from Reader's Workshop on the video. So we can just kind of start with what she felt, and I felt went well with the lesson. Go ahead.
I think that having slides was something that Lisa had mentioned that was going to help kind of keep me on task, but also keep the lesson organized with what I expected, and then after I taught it, what they were supposed to do. And so I think having those slides really helped me to do that. And the kids were really receptive to having that, not only the auditory of me giving them directions, but the visual cue as well.
Good. And I was going to comment on that too. Just Nikki's been incorporating the smartboard more and using that in most of her lessons, creating, even if it's just 1 or 2 slides, really helps enhance the lesson and give the kids a visual to look at also, and helps, I think, keep the kids and the teacher on track with the lesson. So that's been really good, and I think the management of our lesson was great, and the kids really responded well and were able to do what she was asking them to do and met the objectives, and the kids were quiet and on task and, you know, mostly engaged. So I think that was definitely a success.
It was.
And then maybe if we think about what, you know, I always ask Nikki, like, if she had to teach the lesson again, maybe anything that she would change or do differently or anything like that.
I think an area of opportunity, especially in Reader's Workshop, is having a set plan for who I'm going to meet with and what I'm going to say and what we're going to go through as far as individually assessing the students. So I think I need to be better about having that plan, not just, oh, I'm going to meet with certain students, but what exactly I'm going to work with them on. So that's something that I'm continuing to try to build on during Reader's Workshop.
Yep, she's been meeting with a lot of small groups, which is great. I would say maybe one thing that she could work on is just, you know, a lot of times she'll have them do something on Post-its or in the reader's response notebook, which is great and something that she should be doing. And then maybe the next step we are just talking about, what do you do with that? How do you check in on that? Should you collect those? Should you come around just holding the kids accountable and maybe using that as feedback for yourself as a teacher to know where do I need to go next with my instruction? So overall, a wonderful lesson, and Nikki's doing a great job. So,
Till next time.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.